Happy Sunday, everyone. You're watching another episode of Blank Canvas. I'm the voice behind the camera, Erica, and today's artist is Lauren Orscheln, right? Am I saying this right?
Close enough.
I'm trying. So you're an artist for today. What are you working on?
I am working on a wood panel. Just doing a little something that like has some place, but is basically like an abstract in a way. It's grounded a little bit with like something in the background that I worked on before I got here. And yeah, just trying to make it colorful and bring in some depth right now.
Well, it is very colorful so far. I like where it's going. I think I see my face in it.
I think so too.
Yeah, so everyone who's tuning in, let us know. Let Lauren and I know where you're watching from today. And happy Mother's Day to everyone who's out there
happy
celebrating.
Mother's Day.
Yeah. Randy says, hey guys.
Hey Randy.
So can you tell the audience right now, like, what exactly you're working on, what medium you're using?
Yeah, of course. So I'm using graphite, 8B pencil, and acrylic. My favorite kind is Amsterdam acrylic. It just seems to be like holds well, and I can water it down nicely. And I also have some pastels on here and watercolor. And earlier this morning I was sanding it down a little bit because I like it. It's on the wood panel and I want people to be able to see that it's on a wood panel.
Got it.
I like when the wood grain is coming through a little bit.
So we have Lissa saying, hi Lauren, love it.
Oh, it's my mom.
Oh, hello Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
We have Olga saying hello from Miami.
Hi, Olga.
And Stacy saying hello from San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, cool.
And what was the inspiration for this painting?
So I started it actually a few months ago. And it's based off of some photos from the mini protest when the bodega strike happens right after the immigration ban. So there's like, they were in front of, I forget what the structure is, but somewhere off the J Street stop in front of one of the city halls or something. And yeah, so that's what it's like loosely based off of the feeling that was part of that protest.
And how do you go about choosing the colors that you want to use? Is it like you're inspired by the season, or how does that usually work for you? Everyone's different.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it really starts, like the art process or the painting process really starts in the art supply store, you know? Like, I feel like as soon as I'm standing in front of all the pigments, I'm kind of like, you know, starting to paint in a way and starting to pick out my colors. And I tend to work in like groups, so I'll get like as much color as I, you know, can afford from the art supply store, and we'll just go from there. Like, I just like to be able to have as many options as possible. I've noticed that if I don't, then it's really hard for me to feel good about what I'm doing for some reason. I don't know. I just need to like be able to pick and choose, and like that doesn't mean that every painting has to be so full of color, but I like to have the option where I can.
Very nice. We have a lot of people showing you love and saying where they're from. So we have Tracy saying, watching from Covington, Georgia.
Cool.
Shirley says, hi, lovely colors.
Thanks.
We have Steve and Barb. Oh, Steve and Barb always tune in. Thank you. And they're from Illinois. They're saying hello from Illinois.
Nice.
Yes, I love
Steve
that we
and
have
Barb,
regulars.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome.
I love it. We have a lot of regulars.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's brand new watching today, thank you for tuning in.
Welcome.
We have Lulu who's saying hiya from Scotland. Lulu comes in often too.
Oh, Scotland. That's so cool. It's everywhere.
Lulu, what time is it in Scotland right now? I want to know.
I want to know too.
Leah says, love the colors. Looks like summer. I agree. Oh, your mother said, Lissa says, thanks. Happy Mother's Day. This is the best treat ever.
Oh.
That's sweet.
Mother's Day, Mom. I wish I was there.
Mm-hmm. Roxanne says, watching from Phoenix, Arizona. Tammy's watching excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied today, guys, from Pennsylvania. And you even have Nestor watching from Vancouver, Canada.
Cool. Hi, everybody.
So for the people who want to know about the art that's in the background, can you talk a little bit about both pieces?
Yeah, of course.
Not to throw you off, sorry.
No, it's fine. So the painting that's in the background is of like this woman named Kamala Harris, who's a senator from California, and she does a lot of, she's heavily involved in criminal reform, and she's been very vocal about immigration and protecting immigrants and protecting DACA, and so I wanted to make something that was a rendering of her, but like very colorful and hopeful, and I call it Kamala Harris Speaks Light, and I had like some yellows and like bright coming from her mouth, sort of dispelling darkness.
And how long did it take you to finish that piece that's hanging?
Yeah, probably like, I don't know, maybe a month, probably. There are a lot of layers in there, and with a painting like that, like I used to work in oil when I was in school, but I don't anymore because, I still love it, I wish I could, but I don't have a studio at the moment. I just work out of my house, and it's really smelly and toxic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's toxic, so
yeah.
You need good ventilation.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't work in oil anymore, but I still try to give the feeling of oil. So like lots of layers and everything. So all my work, most of the time, it takes a while, especially if I'm working on canvas or wood.
Is that your largest piece to date, or have you worked on something larger?
No, the biggest one I worked on was a commission that I did for a family I used to nanny for, actually, and it was 5 by 7 feet, 7 by 5 feet. That was amazing. It was like so much fun to work on something that big.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
I loved it. I would love to work on that size, like always.
So Gladys wants to know, what kind of paint are you using?
I'm using acrylic paint, and it's pretty watered down at the moment because I'm just trying to build up layers right now. And I also have some pastel going on. I have some oil pastel, which seems to be reacting fine. I've been playing with it for a little while. Sometimes when you use oil and water, obviously it doesn't work that well, but it seems to be okay. And I like the weight of it.
So you mentioned something earlier that just made me think of a question that I wanted to ask, which I'm sure a lot of people out there want to know. This beautiful talent that you have, did you go to school for it, or is this just something that as a kid you just started painting and just went from there?
I did go to school for it. I went to SVA, School of Visual Arts here in New York, and I graduated 2 years ago. But I started painting seriously when I was 16 or 17. But I've always doodled and things, but I didn't really develop a serious passion for it until I was a teenager.
We have Jolyn. Oh, Jolyn, you haven't been in a while.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. She says, loving the artwork. And we have Georgie who's saying, I do not have an ounce of creativity, so it's wonderful watching you.
Oh,
Georgie, I'm sure that you do have
thank you,
creativity.
Georgie.
We all do. We have it somewhere
have to
deep
be
inside
painting.
of us.
Be anything.
And for anyone who's just tuning in, Lauren is our artist today on Blank Canvas. And for everyone who's just tuning in, she's going to let you know what inspired today's painting and what she's working with.
Yes. Okay. So I'm working on a wood panel that has some really nice wood grain texture in the background. This painting was originally inspired by some images I took at the rally for Yemeni. Am I saying that correctly? Yemeni bodega workers that took place in Brooklyn a few months ago.
We have Lulu who says that you seem very laid back.
I'm trying to give that. I'm trying to give that. Yeah. It's all an act.
She's really wild and crazy, guys.
Yeah.
Chick says, so proud of you.
Oh, it's my dad. Hi, Dad.
So you got mom and dad in today.
Welcome,
Hi, Dad.
They're in Missouri. Hey, Missouri.
So are your parents artists as well?
My parents have a barbecue restaurant.
Oh, okay. So we're going now.
Yeah,
After the show,
exactly.
we're going to eat.
Yeah, I wish. It's in Missouri also. Smoking Chick's Barbecue. My dad's name is Chick. And my mom is always very creative, like always doing like different projects with like Mod Podge and like making like tables out of broken tiles, and so I feel like she taught me a lot of stuff. And my grandmother is also very creative. She's a wonderful painter.
Well,
So,
Stevie
yeah,
says this is beautiful.
Thank you.
And Molly says that she loves how you're mixing the different mediums. Your work is wonderful.
Thank you.
And Kimberly says, I can't paint or draw at all. I love this. Kimberly, I'm sure that you can paint and draw.
Just have to try.
Even if it's just a stick figure. It's still art.
I mean, it's so therapeutic, really. I've been really busy these past couple of weeks and I've not been able to paint, and this is really nice.
Karen says, I'm a novice painter with very little experience. I do oil on canvas. I love the beautiful colors you're using.
Thank you.
And Viola says, amazing.
Thanks, Viola.
Gordon says, so relaxing just watching you paint. Thank you for the calm moment. Do you feel that painting puts you in like a tranquil state for you?
Sometimes. It depends on if it's going well or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally depends on if it's going well. Like, sometimes it's not, and then at that moment I usually just have to like put it down or move on to something else. I also do watercolors that are like, sometimes they're kind of traditional. Like I just did a suite for Mother's Day. I work for this shop in Greenpoint, and I made a bunch of watercolor cards for them, just like really simple flowers. And that's always pretty calming because it's like very methodical, and you know, you can mess it up really easily with watercolor, but it's fine because you just start over again.
We have Lucy's that's saying very nice and sending a heart.
Thanks, Lucy.
We have Jenny saying so pretty. I agree. And Jenny also said, it's wonderful to see a young artist do such a wonderful job at painting. I like that.
I like that too.
Rochelle says, Missouri in the house. Love watching
Hey.
this. Is that a family member too?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
The way you said, hey.
No,
I was
just
like,
Missouri,
okay.
you know.
David says, wow, love the mixture of colors you're using.
Thank you.
Yeah, so anyone who's just tuning in, Lauren's our artist for today on Blank Canvas. You can also see that her information will pop up, so you can follow her on Instagram. You can check out the rest of her work as well. And I'm pretty sure she's open to, if there's any other artists out there, maybe getting tagged in with their work as well, so you can kind of like see what everybody else has going on too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see.
Scott says, how did you learn to do that? Freaking masterful.
Aww. Yeah, just time. A lot of time. A lot of failures also.
Yeah, it's trial and error, right?
Always. Always.
Well, I know this person's definitely related to you. Gail says, I've always loved your work, Lauren. You have a special gift.
Oh, thanks. Aunt Gail.
Aunt Gail. Glad you're tuning in. You got mom, dad, your auntie. I love it.
Yeah, I have a huge family.
That's good.
So, hey, family.
We have Aisha who's saying, wow.
Aisha.
Do you feel like when you're in the midst of creating a piece, do you need silence or do you like music in the background? What kind of gets your mojo going for creating a piece?
I mean, it really just depends on my mood. Like, I like to listen to music sometimes, but like sometimes it's distracting. Sometimes I listen to podcasts, especially when I'm doing something that is a little bit more technical and not quite as like painterly. I love podcasts, so I actually listen to podcasts a lot when I'm painting. But like especially like storytelling podcasts, or like journalistic podcasts, but with like the story arc. But silence is good sometimes too. Totally depends. I do also sometimes like it. Like this is really nice because I like it when somebody else is in the room. So when I started painting, I was still at home, obviously, and so I was in high school, and I have 3 little brothers, and they're always like running around me and like, giving unsolicited suggestions and all that. So it really makes me feel comfortable when there are people. So this is nice to have the whole world.
Good. We have Jayla who says beautiful.
Thank you.
So for anyone who is watching, thank you for watching today. I'm so happy when you guys tune in every Saturday and Sunday. Make sure that you're sending Lauren lots of hearts and thumbs ups. And for any of the mothers out there who are celebrating Mother's Day today, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Hopefully, well, you're celebrating by watching Blank Canvas first. Then you can like go to brunch or dinner, wherever you're at. Trisha says, wow, I love this.
Thanks, Trisha.
And Eleanor wants to know, when you're, do you ever have anyone in mind when you're painting a person? Does it have to be someone specific, or do you just sometimes just go about and you're like, I'm just going to see whatever I see in my mind at that time is what I'm going to put out there?
It's usually someone specific. Like when I was in school my last year, I worked with a lot of models, with like just a small group and then a model. And so we had a lot of control over what the image was, but we knew the model as well. So it wasn't just like impersonal, division between the artist and the model. Like I'm working from a person. And sometimes they're like, some of my figurative work from the past couple of years has been me, so they're like self-portraits, but not like, specific self-portraits necessarily, like my face rendered perfectly. It's more about the body, I guess, and the movement. of the image.
Pierrette wants to know, are you using acrylic?
I am, in watercolor.
And it's a wood panel, correct?
It's a wood panel,
okay.
yeah. It's a wood panel, so it's stretched. It's not stretched, but it's like a stretched canvas, in that it can hang on the wall. It has like a back that's just like a stretched canvas, stretch regardless.
And we have Trisha saying, I missed the beginning of how it started. Did you prime the canvas first?
No, it's unprimed, but the paint just soaks into the wood. The wood was probably treated. Sorry.
Oh, okay. And I know you've been sanding here and there.
Yeah, I was just
so
gonna
what's
pull
the
it
sanding for?
out, actually. So you can see here that the wood grain is coming through a bit more. Because I'm just kind of playing with the wood canvas or the wood panel, I'm still learning like what works and what doesn't, and sometimes I put too much paint on. And because it's acrylic, it's pretty opaque. So like you can see like here, you can't really see the wood grain anymore, which is fine in places, but I want the viewer to be reminded that it's a wood panel all the way through.
We have Love asking, do you teach classes?
I do not.
Have you ever thought about it?
I mean, I would like to go back and get my MFA at some point and become a professor, potentially. So teaching class would be amazing at some point.
And Lauren, for everyone who missed it, are you self-taught? Did you go to school? I know you said you want to go back to school, so some people might have just caught the tail end of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did go to school. I went to School of Visual Arts in New York. And when I was in high school, I was really, really lucky to have an amazing art teacher that just really cared about our students. Her name is Sharon Hyatt, if you're watching. And she was amazing. So, I mean, I think that a lot of this is because of her. I definitely wouldn't have considered going to art school before I met her. But she taught me a lot.
We have Raga, who's saying hi from Sydney. Beautiful artwork.
Oh, wow. Hi, Raga.
By the way, I know that your mother is very proud because, not that your father's not, I'm sure he is too. But I saw that she shared your video.
Oh, thanks,
So
Mom.
she's making sure that the whole world, or at least her Facebook page knows.
Thanks, Mom.
We have Elsie saying hi from Carson, California.
Hi.
And we have Faylene saying hi from Ipswich, Massachusetts.
Cool, hi. Welcome.
Yes, thank you everyone who's tuning in today for watching. Lauren's our artist today, and she's doing an amazing job. I have her under such high pressure right now. No, she's doing a really great job. I love how, like, very calm you are. I love this. And make sure for anyone who's on Instagram, our Instagram page is up right now. Follow her on Instagram, check out the rest of her work. DM her, ask her some questions. Maybe buy some art from her.
Yeah,
I'm sure
that.
she would really love that. We always love when artists from Blank Canvas get commissioned for a piece.
Yeah, please.
We love hearing about it.
I'm going to Greece in a couple of weeks, so
Gotta make that extra money.
Bring it on.
Yes. Sounds like, I'm sure that'll be a really nice trip.
Yeah, we just found some cheap tickets and we're just going with it. I mean, I'm excited. Just happened a couple of days ago, so.
Are you gonna take any of your supplies with you to paint?
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna bring just some paper, I think, and my watercolor pads, and some pencils. because I don't want to take up too much space, but I definitely want to paint when we're there, for sure.
Trisha wants to know, what type of wood are you using? Do you know?
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure. I know it's from Canada. It's called Elephant something. I got it here in, well, I got it in Brooklyn at Artists and Craftsman Supply. And I don't know, the brand name is Elephant, but I'm not sure what the wood is. I should.
Joni wants to know, how do you blend while the painting is drying? Do you keep it wet?
I do. Sometimes, actually, I forgot to bring it, but I often use a spray bottle, just like a little spray bottle that I'll use to keep the surface wet, to work into it. Especially when I'm working with watercolor, because I like it when I don't have total control over the watercolor, and it kind of, can go where it finds the space that I've created on the canvas with, like, the graphite, because it'll like catch it sometimes. I can show you, actually.
Do you have any, I'm sure you do, but maybe we should say your top 2 or 3. Do you have any artists that are in your top 2 or 3 that you're like, they're inspiration to me?
Yeah, actually, I met one the other day, like totally out of the blue. I mean, not totally out of the blue, but I didn't know she was there. Her name is Jordan Castile.
Okay.
And she's a figurative painter, and I love her work. I was at Dumbo Open Studios the other day, and she is one of the Sharp painters, which is just like a place that provides studios for amazing painters and artists. So she's like, as far as contemporary artists, she's really close to the top.
All right, so you have her,
yeah,
and then who else? Name one other person.
Okay, so sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's like Elizabeth Glassner is another one of my favorites. She's another New York painter, young painter. So is Jordan Castile, pretty young.
Charlene wants to know, are you removing paint or blending with paper or sandpaper when you're using the paper from time to time?
Oh, it's a paper towel.
Got it.
So I'm removing the paint because I'm trying to get, like, I like these pink pieces here, but I'm trying to get so you can see a little bit of what was there before, because the watercolor and the acrylic will stain the wood itself, and so if you remove some of it, even if you remove it, there'll still be like a bit of color there, unless you just like sand right through. But I'm trying to just get so like you can see a little bit of what's underneath. I tend to just work at like, not section by section necessarily, but like I'll keep working on the painting and like the different pieces until I'm satisfied with like one section. So like, it's simple, but I really like this area right now. Like I love this like negative space with the purple and then like this pink coming down. And like this area is kind of nice. So like I'm just trying to get the rest of the painting up to the level of what I want for like this particular image.
Oh, we have Sarah who says, I just painted a sign on wood for Mother's Day gift for a friend.
Oh, wonderful.
Do you ever find that either you yourself think of it or maybe others in the family or friends, like you're like, oh, I'll just paint them something because it's a really great gift and it's original, or they'll just like, can you paint this for me? Do you get a little bit of both?
Yeah, they both will definitely happen. Like last Christmas or the Christmas before, I brought home a painting that I did and gave it to my parents. Like their house is just full of old, old paintings. You know, because I like them to have my work, but also because I only have so much space. And these are like tangible objects. They have to go somewhere.
We have Melissa, who says it's so relaxing watching you paint, but in parentheses wrote Parker.
Oh, it's my brother.
Okay.
Hi, Parker. He's 11.
So you say you have 3, right?
I have 3.
3 brothers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that Parker's watching too. Family love, support. I like that.
That's wonderful.
So for everyone who's just tuning in, our artist today is Lauren, and she's working on a very beautiful painting for me. I don't want you guys out there to get jealous.
Oh, they should
She
be
said I'm the
jealous.
inspiration. No, but yeah, for everyone who's watching, this is Lauren. She's our artist today. Make sure you're following her on Instagram. You can see all of her information. It'll pop up periodically throughout the show. And for anyone who's just tuning in and has missed it, I will have Lauren explain what she's working on, what she's using, and even the artwork that she has hanging up into the side in the background, because a lot of people have wanted to know everything about it. So maybe we can start with the background paintings first, and then make our way back to what you're working on.
Yeah, that sounds good. So the painting that's on this other wood panel here, been through a lot. This painting. I was pretty happy with it, and then I don't know, I painted over one part, and then I just really started to dislike it, so I just started going at it with like just everything. Like I just let water sit on it for a while so I could scrape some of the paint off, and then I like took some sandpaper to it, and I had to vacuum it because there was sandpaper and like paint everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I took it into the shower because I couldn't get it wet enough to get all the paint off. It's a whole thing. But I'm happy with it now. I think it's done. Yeah, I think it's done.
Yeah, you eventually have to say, where do I stop, right?
Yeah, I mean, or just like turn it around and like, I mean, these wood panels are like, I can't just like throw them away or anything. Obviously not in that position, but at some point, like, yeah, you just have to either stop or start over. That makes sense. I will like throw things away sometimes though, when like it's just not working, especially just paper, you know. And if it's just paper, then I don't mind like getting rid of it, because you know, I don't want to hold on to stuff that's not working because it doesn't feel like it's good for me to work.
We have Isabel who's saying, hi, Lauren. You're great. Let me buy you a coffee.
Isabel Doll?
Yes.
Hi, Isabel.
That's funny. What about me, Isabel? I don't even drink coffee, so it's fine. I'm just the voice.
Maybe something else.
Priscilla says, how inspiring.
Thanks, Priscilla.
And Charlene said, I missed the beginning of this. Sorry if you have already mentioned this. Charlene, never be sorry. We are happy to answer any of your questions. She said, what surface are you painting on? Looks like a canvas.
Yeah, it's actually a wood panel. It's a pretty thick wood panel that I've started to work on, like on and off for the past couple of years. I love working on canvas as well, but sometimes it's nice to work on wood because I already have something like to hold on to, you know. There's like the wood grain in the background, and it makes it nice to like have something that is gonna give the image grit already, you know. I'm sure it's for some people that could be like working against you, and for some images that's true, where the wood grain will be working against me, but for a lot of things it's nice.
Oh, by the way, Isabel said I can have some tea, she supposes, but okay. I'll take the tea.
At least she's open-minded.
Yeah. So once you're done painting, Lauren, and getting all your colors together, do you usually put anything over the painting so that it like stays? I know a lot of people they'll put like some sort of like spray or like shine on it. Do you usually do anything like that?
It depends on what the surface is. If it's something that it needs to be set, like there's some surfaces that just need to be set because like what I put on it might fade over time. But I don't do it unless it's necessary. Like I would rather not if I can. I don't know if that makes sense. I guess
No,
I'm,
that does make
I'm not
sense.
really,
That makes sense.
Yeah, so sometimes there are certain things like there's a spray that's a matte spray that I've used for like charcoal drawings where like the charcoal will move around over time or will smudge. But I try to use matte paint. But I have been using Mod Podge recently.
Okay.
Which like harkens back to my childhood. My mom like always using Mod Podge for like dried flower painting and things like that. And it's been really fun to play with. I bought a jar of sparkles on a whim because I was feeling kind of off one day and just thought that it would cheer me up. And then I found some Mod Podge in my closet. I had no idea it was there. And it's really fun, actually.
And you mentioned, obviously, it took you back to your childhood. So you've been painting since about what age? Do you remember?
Yeah, I've always drawn stuff, I guess. There's this one drawing that I remember my mom saved from when I was like 5 that was a palace of some kind. It was like this crazy looking, very colorful like palace, I guess, that I drew for my imaginary friends. But I didn't start thinking of myself really as a painter until I was in high school. I really like tried to develop that identity for myself.
Melissa wants to know, what is your favorite place to paint?
Oh, good question. Is this Melissa Parker again?
Yes.
Okay. My favorite place to paint. Well, right now my favorite place to paint is in my apartment because while it's pretty small, the light is really nice. I have a north-facing window, so it's like there's never any bright light that's coming through, but it makes it really nice because it's like diffuse light all day long. So I usually paint at my little table, and yeah. Or sometimes I'll, like with this one, with the Kamala Harris painting, I put it up like in front of my closet that's in the living room, and would just have to take it down at night.
Felicita says, I love to paint too, and said your painting is awesome.
Thanks.
Has there ever been a piece of art that you started to work on and you just still haven't finished to this day? Like you're just like, I just can't, I don't know if I can go back to this.
Yeah, I guess there are a couple of things that are at my parents' house that I worked on right before I moved. That I don't know that I could ever go back to. They're just kind of like relics of that time at this point. But there's another painting that I did But I guess I didn't finish it the way that I started out, that I intended to. It was a painting I did for a class. It was supposed to be like a rendering of a Rembrandt, I guess. And I just didn't devote enough time to it, really. And I ended up like really not liking it, and so I painted over it completely. It was a self-portrait, and I just like totally painted over it, and then it became a pretty strange painting. It's on my website. It's called Oranges and Orbs, maybe. It's a really weird painting, but like kind of just a still life. But it's one of my favorite paintings that I've done.
A few people who are just chiming in and tuning in, they want to know what medium are you using?
I'm using acrylic and watercolor.
And Charlene wants to know, she has a few questions. What type of wood are you painting on? And where can I get that type of wood you are painting on? I love the way you are painting. Very interested on trying your technique.
Sure. I'm not sure what the wood is. I guess I should have checked before I came. But it's called Elephant, I think is the brand name. And it's a wood panel, so it's like, you can find them anywhere, I guess. I prefer something where it's already, there's something on the back so that you can just hang it directly on the wall. You don't have to put anything else on the back of it. And that also makes it so it's hard. It's not going to warp. Like some wood will warp as you're working on it because it just changes like the content of the wood, I guess. I don't know, because you're putting so much water on it. But when it has a back on it, then it's not going to warp as easily.
We have Wendla saying very nice.
Thank you.
And Irene saying, I appreciate your talent and imagination.
Thanks, Irene.
And we have Cara who's asking, how did you go about choosing the colors for this painting?
It's not such a it's not such a thought out process. It's definitely intuitive. I don't go into a painting thinking like I'm going to use, 8 colors and they're all going to be like this amount. I tend to just start working and we'll work in layers and sometimes take things off like I'm doing right now. And as I'm working, I decide what the colors are going to be. It's not like necessarily a really thorough, thought out decision. I just like to have, as I said earlier, I just like to have as many options as possible when I'm working.
Tiffany says, I love it, and sends you 2 hearts.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Your dad says, we're all watching you at work. Connor, Caleb, Greer, and me.
Hey, guys. Connor is my other brother. He actually is graduating high school very soon. Very proud of him.
Family love.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie says, love it.
Thanks, Cassie.
And Kathleen says, hi, I love your painting. Did you prime the wood canvas before you started putting down the paint?
I did not. You can do that though. A lot of people do that before they start working on wood. They'll prime it so that it's still wood, but you don't get any of the wood grain. But I want the wood grain and I want the paint to soak in and sort of stain the wood, so I don't prime it. But it's totally up to you. You can prime it, and you can also, there's clear primer as well that you can buy, and I've used before on raw canvas. I've primed it with clear primer because I didn't want the background to be white. I wanted it to be like just of the canvas, but I was using oil, so if you use oil on an unprimed canvas, then the oil will eventually eat through the canvas. So I used clear primer, and it worked really well. So you could totally do that too.
Well, I'll leave you with one last comment. Elsie says, beautiful. Lauren, thank you so much for being on Blank Canvas today. You're really awesome. Your work is so beautiful.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll have you back again in the near future.
I hope so too.
And to everyone who's watching today, thank you so much for always tuning into Blank Canvas. Or if you're a newcomer, thank you so much for watching today and showing Lauren some love. We shoot Blank Canvas and go live every Saturday and Sunday. Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure that you tune in next week because we always have some really great artists on. So happy Sunday, and to all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much.